UFC 319 takes place tomorrow, and here's every bet that I placed on the card. Now, before I get into my bets, I would like to say that I am not betting these fights. I am skipping these. I am skipping the TUF finale, and I'm also skipping Bisangur Susukaya versus Eric Nolan. The TUF finale is way too flippy-floppy. Alibi is minus 400. Don't feel like parlaying him, even though he's my pick. And Bisangur is fighting on 4 days' notice, as is Eric Nolan. So I'm just prepared to watch the cinema in that fight. I don't think I actually want to be betting that. First fight that we have a bet on is Karine Silva taking on Diani Barbosa. In this fight, I have Diani Barbosa to win by decision as my pick. And for my bet, I'm also going to be putting a unit and 2 for Diani Barbosa to just straight up win, plus 180. I think there's value on the underdog here. This is a rematch. In the first fight, Diani won by decision. This is a grappler versus grappler, and I think Diani has the better striking if it were to stay on the feet. If Diani shoots offensive takedowns, I think she can win as well. Karine, I think, is round 1 or bust. I think Diani can win the latter 2 rounds. So, yeah, women's MMA, I'm taking the coin flip underdog. Next fight I have a bet on is Nursultan Ruzaboyev taking on Brian Battle. In this fight, I have Brian Battle to win by decision as my pick. And for my bet, I will be parlaying Brian Battle. I actually have him in a parlay with Hamzat. Spoiler alert, 1.4 units on that. I think Brian Battle has all the advantages to win this fight, except by finish. Nursultan can win by vicious KO, but he's not really a great volume striker. He doesn't really shoot takedowns like a lot of people say that he might do in this fight. And Brian Battle, I think, is going to do better in the clinch. He's going to do better on the feet with volume. And I think Brian Battle has sneaky power to even give Nursultan some fits. So I like Brian Battle here to win. Next fight we have a bet on is Edson Barboza taking on Drakkar Klose. In this fight, I have Drakkar Klose as my pick. I have him to win by decision. So if I pick the underdog, I'm going to be betting the underdog. Drakkar Klose plus 132. We put 1.2 units on that. Edson Barboza hasn't fought in over a year. So who knows the version of Edson we're going to see come Saturday. He is 39 years old. He could be extremely slow. He could look extremely washed. Klose at least fought this year. He did get knocked out in round 1 by a flying knee, but he didn't look horrendous. You know, he's still shooting takedowns. He still has sneaky power. So in this one, I think if Edson shows up washed and slow, this is going to be Drakkar's fight to lose. And he can shoot takedowns, and he can probably get the better of the striking exchanges now that Edson's probably older and doesn't throw as many, high-flying kicks and stuff. So Edson by KO, I can see that happening early, but other than that, I'm taking Drakkar. Next fight we have a bet on is Alexander Hernandez taking on Chase Hooper. In this one, I do have Chase Hooper to win. I have him to win inside of the distance by submission. I understand that the line is very wide. At first, I was leaning Alexander Hernandez, but I only really think he can win early. He can win by like round 1 knockout, maybe even round 2 knockout, but outside of those possibilities, I think this is Chase Hooper's fight to lose, so we put him in a parlay. Once again, I parlayed him with Hamza, 1.4 units on that, minus 330 for Chase Hooper. Just think he's going to do better in the UFC in the future. As for this fight specifically, he's also 25 years old, so, we could see more wrinkles to his striking game. It has been improving every fight, so it should be interesting. Next fight we have a bet on is Jessica Andrade taking on Lupi Godinez. In this one, my pick is Andrade to win by decision. She is very untrustworthy. 26-14, not the prettiest record, but I just think Andrade is going to be too much for Lupi Godinez. Lupi Godinez is mainly a wrestler that doesn't really shoot takedowns when you want her to, and if this were to stay standing, I think Andrade is going to have a field day on the feet against Lupi Godinez. Lupi needs to shoot takedowns to win. You could do Lupi by sub plus 700. That's like the is Jessica Andrade fully washed bet. Lupi by finish. I don't know if Lupi can win by decision just by holding Andrade on the ground. I think she's going to need to advance to some, fight-ending positions, like looking for a ground and pound, looking for a sub. Lupi just doesn't really do that. So against Andrade, I think Andrade has a lot of ways to win, so I'm picking her to win plus 116. Next fight we have a bet on is Gerald Meerschaert taking on Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, and in this one, I think it's going to end by finish. I think Mikhail is going to brutally knock out GM3, or GM3 is going to find a late round sub. I'm leaning with Mikhail to find the brutal finish. I have in a parlay minus 230. He's with the Fighting Nerds now. He should have a better game plan going into this one. My biggest concern is if Mikhail knocks down GM3 multiple times and chases him to the ground, because if he were to do that, then he's definitely getting submitted if he chases GM3 to the ground. But if he just repeatedly peppers him at range, continuously finds the big shot, I think he's just going to get GM3 out of there because the ref is going to step in and just say, yeah, this is a mercy stoppage. So Mikhail by KO is the pick. The bet is Mikhail in a parlay. Next fight we have a bet on is Tim Elliott taking on Kaya Sakura. And in this one, I am going with Tim Elliott. It sounds ridiculous, but I mean, there's a huge age gap. He's going to be way older, probably way slower. He hasn't fought in nearly 2 years. But at the end of the day, Kaya Sakura got ragdolled and submitted by Pantoja in his only UFC fight. And now in his next fight, they're giving him another grappler, a grappler that could easily do the same thing, which I think he will do. Tim Elliott to win, plus 235. I have a unit on that. And him by sub, I have plus 1,000 now. I have a half unit on that. So, I mean, if Tim Elliott just goes out there and completes the game plan, he should win by finish. He should win by sub. I am concerned because his striking is very goofy. I am concerned Kaya Sakura can just land a big shot. Like, I don't think Kaya Sakura needs to be super UFC level to beat Tim Elliott. I think he can like, fluke KO victory his way to a win. But I'm just going with the unk here. I'm going with the guy that has a proven UFC track record, and he's a grappler, which is what Asakura's main weakness so far has been. Next fight we have a bet on is Jared Cannonier taking on Michael Page, and I'm pretty confident in this one. I'm taking Michael Page to win, minus 205. I did have him in a parlay with Diego Ferreira, but since that fight got dropped, now I just have 3 units on Michael Page himself. So good luck me. I mean, it should be an easy W in my opinion. Cannonier's only path to victory is if he wrestles, which, I mean, he has done in fights, but I doubt he will do here. He's going to look too slow in that cage, I feel like. He's not going to have the wrestling opportunities. One thing to note is this is at middleweight, and MVP is usually fighting at welterweight, so maybe the size advantage for Cannonier will show something, but MVP looked huge at weigh-ins. So MVP to win by decision. I'm picking that method of victory for every MVP fight moving forward unless he fights a really good grappler. I don't think anyone can really stand on the feet with MVP for too long. And, yeah, I think he's just going to win another boring decision. Next fight we have a bet on is Jeff Neal taking on Carlos Prates. And we're going with Jeff Neal as the pick, as the bet. 1.4 units on Jeff Neal, plus 200. I think Prates is one-shot KO or bust. He needs to land that big shot in order to win. This will be his biggest jump up in competition compared to Ian Gary. He did pass the Neil Magny test. Jeff Neal failed the Neil Magny test. That is a big note. But when he did fight Ian Gary, he landed, 60 significant strikes in 5 rounds? Like, this guy is barely throwing. If you're constantly moving and you're constantly pressing forward, you're going to do well against a guy like Carlos Prates. And that's exactly what Jeff Neal does. Jeff Neal also can mix in the takedown. Jeff Neal can also mix in the clinch. Jeff Neal's going to use that veteran savvy to win this by decision, I believe, unless Prates lands the big shot. If Prates lands the big shot, GG's, bad bet, bad pick. But other than the big shot, I think Jeff Neal has every other path to victory. Next fight we have a bet on is Lerone Murphy taking on Aaron Pico. We're going with Lerone Murphy. We're picking Lerone Murphy. We're betting Lerone Murphy. 1.4 units at plus 144. I don't care that the line is getting wider. I'm getting more and more spooked by the day because everyone's picking Lerone Murphy. Everyone's betting Lerone Murphy, but the line keeps growing in Aaron Pico's favor. It seems like all the sharps are on Aaron Pico. I'm not going to give you another long breakdown. You've heard enough of those about this fight. At the end of the day, I would rather pick and bet Lerone Murphy and feel happily surprised that Pico won than pick and bet Aaron Pico at favorite odds and look like a complete clown because Bellator just stinks. So, going with the UFC veteran. He has multiple ways to win. He's undefeated. Give me Lerone Murphy. In the main event, Dricus versus Hamzat. I, of course, am picking Hamzat. I, of course, am betting Hamzat. I have him in 3 different parlays. And by the end of the night, whatever I have in my account, if my bets have been hitting, if the bets have been missing, whatever it is, whatever that balance is being shoved on Hamzat. I have him as the last leg in almost all my parlays. And he's going to be the last play that I make of the night in total. I think he wins by sub. I think he wins by round 1 sub. I think he wins rather early. Not going to give you a long breakdown. I already did that previously. But all you got to know is I am a Hamzat supporter. I am a Hamzat glazer. And I really, truly believe he's going to win by sub round 1. As for the Finz' Hammerlock, this is my weekly underdog, most confident pick of the card. I did pick a lot of underdogs this card. So it is a little scary. Picking one that I like the most, but I think after analyzing all of it, Jeff Neal I like, Tim Elliott I like, Jakar Close I like. There's not one that I love other than Deani Barbosa, the Witch, plus 180. She is my most confident pick for an underdog on the card. I think Karine Silva is overhyped, and I think Deani Barbosa, if she shoots offensively, she can win. If it stays standing, she can win. If it gets to the mat, I think she can reverse positions and win. And if it goes past round 1, round 2, I think she's going to have the better gas tank in round 3. And she's also a former Olympic athlete. She's also jacked. So a lot of things to like about this underdog. It's back-to-back weeks where I'm picking a woman as my Finz Hammer lock. We are on a 3-week losing streak with the Finz Hammer lock as well. So this could either make it 4 weeks losing, or we can get back in the win column. So we'll see how we do with this one.